So if you're still thinking of AI as something for the tech guys in the back room, well, you really need to listen up, because the conversation has exploded out of the server room and landed squarely on the boardroom table. And it's brought with it a brand new and very serious risk: your own personal liability.
Okay, before we dive in, we have to get something really important out of the way. All the insights we're about to share are based on a fantastic report from Virtualization Options LLC. But please remember, this is for your information only. This is absolutely not legal advice. For real guidance that applies to you and your company, you have to talk to your corporate counsel. Seriously.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the new risk AI poses in the boardroom. Then we'll look at how this liability isn't just theory, it's real and growing. We'll uncover the problem of the missing safety net in your insurance. And finally, we'll walk through a solid governance plan to help you defend yourself.
Let's get right into it. We're talking about a whole new world of risk for board members. The game has totally changed, and believe it or not, your personal assets could now be on the line.
Just to give you a sense of how big this is, check out this number. According to Harvard Law School research, a staggering 50 to 75% of companies are already using AI. This isn't some far-off future trend, it is happening right now, in the vast majority of businesses.
And here's the part that should make everyone sit up and take notice. With that massive adoption comes a fundamental shift in responsibility. Directors and officers are now facing personal liability when those AI systems fail. The old rules, the ones that used to shield your personal wealth, they just don't apply anymore.
So why the sudden whiplash? Well, it really boils down to three big shifts. First, your basic fiduciary duties, your legal responsibilities to the company, have officially expanded to include overseeing AI. Second, the "I didn't know" excuse is dead on arrival. Courts are flat out rejecting the idea that you can claim you didn't understand the tech. And third, regulators like the SEC are making it crystal clear: AI competence is no longer optional, it is mandatory.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how is this actually playing out in the real world, in actual courtrooms? Let's look at the cases and precedents that are literally rewriting the rulebook on director responsibility as we speak.
Take a look at this landmark class action from 2024, which may still be working its way through the courts. Shareholders sued the board, alleging they completely failed to oversee an AI model used for credit risk. The legal bombshell here is that it's one of the first cases of its kind. It's a huge warning shot, signaling that these kinds of shareholder lawsuits are going to be a major new threat for boards that aren't paying attention.
And then there's this other huge risk, something called AI washing. You know, when a company exaggerates what its AI can actually do? It's a disaster waiting to happen, and it usually unfolds in three predictable steps. First, the regulators crack down. That opens the door for investors to file a class action lawsuit, and it all ends with board members being held personally liable for approving those misleading statements.
Now, at the very heart of this whole challenge is something called the black box problem. Think about it. Many of these powerful AI systems give you an answer, but they can't tell you how they got there. It's opaque. And that raises a terrifying question. How in the world are you supposed to govern a decision you can't even understand?
And that leads us to this incredibly powerful quote from the Harvard Journal of Law and Technology. It really says it all. You, as a director, cannot just hand off major decisions to an AI that you can't understand or explain. The bottom line is, you are on the hook for what that AI decides, even if you have no idea how it made its choice.
Okay, so the risks are real. But I know what you're thinking. That's what we have D&O insurance for, right? Well, not so fast. This brings us to what might be the most shocking part of this new reality. That safety net you thought you had, it might be gone.
For years, D&O insurance was your shield. It covered legal costs, judgments, it was your backstop. But that's changing, and it's changing fast. Insurers are now writing in broad, sweeping exclusions for anything and everything arising out of AI use. And the implication is terrifying. Your personal assets are now what's on the line.
So why are these policies suddenly full of holes when it comes to AI? Well, a few reasons. First, the language is deliberately vague so a claim can be denied even if AI played a tiny part. Second, you can be held responsible if your vendor's AI messes up, and guess what? Your policy probably won't cover that. And finally, insurers are getting creative, using old cyber attack exclusions to deny new AI-related claims.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty grim. We've laid out the problem, the legal landmines, and the vanishing insurance coverage. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. Now we get to the most important part, your action plan, your defense.
Building a defense that will actually hold up starts with having the right structure in place. You need to either create a dedicated AI risk committee or formally assign that job to an existing one. Define exactly what they're responsible for. Set a non-negotiable schedule for reviews, at least quarterly, and audit the AI's results independently. But the most important step, document everything. Every meeting, every decision, every report. If it's not written down, in the eyes of the law, it never happened.
And that structure has to be built on a foundation of solid principles. Here's the most important one: demand explainability. If your management team cannot explain how an AI system works in a way that you, the board, can understand, then that system has no business making critical decisions for your company. Period. You have to push back against relying on black boxes, you must treat AI risk as a core business risk, and you have to consciously apply your good old-fashioned duties of care and loyalty to every single AI decision.
So we'll leave you with this one question, because let's be honest, it's not a matter of if your company has an AI failure, but when. The stats we showed you prove that AI is almost certainly already running in your organization. So the question you need to walk into your very next board meeting with is this: is our governance ready for the day it fails?